Charles IV.
Talk to me, brother.
Is there any way I could help you get elected?
What would you like to do?
Not exactly.
John isn't my opponent, he's my brother. But there is something you could help me with.
That doesn't sound...
Pity?
I'm interested in the...
You're not alone.
Why? What's wrong with...
Many brothers think more about their stomachs than prayer.
That's all.
Peace be with you, brother.
Taste his morsels for themselves and give us the slop that's left over.
The food's definitely gone downhill. I remember back when we ate like kings.
Talk to me, brother.
I'm Gregor and I'm new here.
I know. I saw you in the church during the ceremony. I have a feeling we'll be meeting again soon, and often. You see, I'm a circator.
What does that mean?
I make sure everyone observes the rule, does their work, and that everything is the way it should be.
When it's not the way it should be?
Then we're authorized to mete out punishment. But certainly you won't require correction, will you, brother?
About you in the election, will you tell me more about it?
Ask me anything you want.
Tell me something about Nevlas.
Nevlas is weak and toothless. He's full of hot hair. How anyone could think he'd make a good abbot is beyond me. Enough. I don't even want to hear his name again.
I'd like to know what's going on here.
Well, the young brothers feel they don't have the same rights and responsibilities as we, who have spent much of our lives here. And what of it? Privilege needs to be earned. Nevlas is lying when he says he wants to right wrongs. All he cares about are the benefits for himself and his cronies.
I'd like to help you if I can.
There is something you could do. I'm convinced Nevlas must have done something that would greatly damage him if everyone found out. If he was preaching water and drinking wine, for example.
So I should dig something up on him and tell you about it?
Exactly. But I doubt you'll have any luck. Nevlas is too cunning and careful to give anything away.
Once I find something out, I'll tell you. I'd like to help you if I can. So...
Exact.
I'm sorry, but...
He wades...
Thank you for answering. About you...
Ask me anything.
I'm not really...
Then why you wait?
Thank you for... What did you want me to do?
Dig up some dirt on Nevlas and... Talk to me.
I'd like to...
Gregor, talk to me.
I'd like to ask... Who's in charge of things around here?
Abbot Peter is the administrator of the monastery.
And what happens when the old abbot dies?
Then we...
Are there any...
Yes, there are. On one side are brothers who'd like to see John as abbot. On the other, those who support Nevelis.
Tell me about John.
John...
I'd like to know about...
Nevelis managed... Although...
Why does it matter so much?
Because the future direct... The older brothers take a different view.
I thought politics...
You're right.
Are there ever any...
Unfortunately...
Tell me...
The old...
Who would you like to...
I've thought long and... With you, brother.
Salve. Be well.
Praise be to our Lord Jesus.
Someone's been... What am I saying? He was stomping about like a bear. Must have been Brother Cicada. He can't sleep and prays long into the night.
Things will get worse. They've seen you fitted in like joints. And now they hurt again. But worse than that, I tell you.
You might be wrong. And besides, God will be our protector.
Forbidden books must be in that cabinet.
You've seen us drinking here, so either join in or swear you won't tell a soul. You won't want to end up like Lucas now, would you?
All right. I wouldn't mind some wine.
That's more like it. Sit down and have a drink, my lad.
What's there left to drink to?
To our fresh young novices, our swift steeds, and our boundless cellars.
You and your novices, you old pervert. A toast to our future abbot. Killjoy? He'd love to have us all under his thumb.
Don't worry. Those youngsters will wise up once they hear all about it.
Will they believe it?
Even if just 2 or 3 of them do, it'll help us. So, to Abbot John.
To Abbot John. Ah, Gregor, talk to me.
What are you doing here?
What does it look like, drinking?
But we're all monks.
Youngster, when you're as old as I, you'll understand.
Why not? I've had enough opprobria and obedientia for one day.
That's what we like to hear.
You mentioned Yodok. What does he do for you?
Well, nothing much. He's just a little suckling like you. He'll do whatever it takes to stay on our good side. Sometimes we make use of him when there are errands to run.
Where'd you get the wine from? I thought the monastery cellars were guarded.
So they are. But this wine isn't from the monastery. Listen, lad, would you help us out with something? This cask is almost empty, and we need a new one. We're a bit old for such exertions, but you, on the other hand...
I'll help you. What do I need to do?
Ha! I knew it! Help Novice Yorick arrange for a new cask. Talk to him first thing in the morning, and by tomorrow night, the cask can be on the table.
All right, I'll talk to him.
I'd like to ask you something.
I'll be going, brothers. It's been good to sit with you a while.
Do us a favour, brother. Stay a little longer and have another drink with us. Here, some wine for you.
Oh, all right, but that's the last cup. I'll be going, brothers. It's been good to sit with you a while.
Do us a favour.
Thanks, but I won't have any more. I need my sleep.
As you wish, brother, as you wish. We'll be heading off soon ourselves.
I'll say one thing, brother. This wine would grace the Pope's table.
I'm not so sure. It's a bit...
What troubles you?
I'd like to ask...
What's there left to drink to?
To our fresh young novices, our swift steeds, and our boundless...
You old pervert.
What is it, brother?
I'm looking for something a little, unorthodox.
And what would that be exactly?
I'm looking for lockpicks.
Lock picks? And what would you like those for?
I'd like to practice opening locks, just for the fun of it.
Well, why not? So you heard I used to be a burglar, did you? I put it all behind me as soon as I took the vows. But I do have a few lockpicks left. I'll trade them for food. Get me a bite to eat, and you can have your lockpicks. Can't say fairer than that, can I? What do you desire, Brother Gregor?
Brother, I've a favour to ask, and I think you're the man to help me with it. Or you used to be, before you came here.
I see. So it's the dodgy sort of favor, is it?
Well, yes. I need to get hold of the keys to the monastery.
That won't be easy, I can tell you that straight off. The prior always keeps the keys close by him. So how exactly do you imagine I could help?
How could I get hold of them?
With great difficulty. Unless you want to rob the prior.
Could you take the keys off him?
Rob the prior? You've got to be joking.
You wouldn't be doing it for free?
Then what could you possibly pay me? I'm done with my thieving, and you'd have to offer me a whole lot of groschen to change my mind.
How much would you want?
A princely sum, brother. This is no trifling matter.
That much? Where am I supposed to find that much coin? No one here has any money.
Precisely. But no groschen, no theft. And think twice before you ask me that kind of favor again.
You have some...
What's that?
So you turn to...
I said about securing a life without that...
No one.
I'd like to ask you...
I'm looking for...
And what...
I need to get hold of some kind of weapon.
Well, I can't help you with that. And besides, what use would a weapon be in here?
I need to get some wine.
You're not the only one. But I have to keep records of all the casks, and the prior checks on them. He'd notice any loss straight away. Just like our food, everything's rationed. So I'm sorry, but I'll have to disappoint you, brother.
I'm looking for...
Lock?
I'd like to...
Well, why? So you heard I'll trade...
Why aren't you sleeping? What are you doing here?
say one thing, brother. This wine would grace the Pope's table.
I'm not so sure. It's a bit sour.
What would you like?
What do you desire, brother?
I'm looking for some.
And what
I'm looking.
luck?
I.
Well, say it. I'll trade. What do you desire?
I'm looking for.
And what luck?
What's it to you? Do you have some or not?
Peace, brother. There's no need to get all worked up. So you heard I used to be a burglar. I'll trade them.
In the night, I overheard the cicadas in the cellar. They were talking about you.
Oh, no. So it's still not over. This isn't a life and service of God. This is purgatory.
Lucas, what's going on?
What do you think? Just like you, I saw the cicadas drinking and playing hazard as if they were in a brothel.
We'd be safer not to get mixed up in the affairs of our superior brethren.
You're probably right, but I was naive and hoped I could fix things.
I warned them if they didn't stop, I'd go and tell the prior. But instead of mending their ways, they vented their anger on me.
You've picked the wrong people to make enemies of, Lucas, they told me. Now I can't even count how many days and nights I've spent locked up in solitary confinement for the tiniest offenses, or for no offense at all.
Is there something I can do to help?
Would you? I think all it might take is for you to go and sit down with them, have a talk, set things straight, then they'd leave me alone. But I'm afraid even this path leads nowhere. They'd probably start hounding you as well.
I'm not afraid of them.
Brother, you have the courage I lack. May the grace of God be upon you.
What would you like?
I was talking last night with the brother Cicators. It seems you're to fetch them a cask of wine, like last time.
Well, yes, it's true.
I'd like to help you.
Would you really do it? To get hold of the wine, we'll have to leave the monastery for a bit. I know it's forbidden, but we've no other option. If wine started going missing here, someone would notice. But to leave the monastery, we need the keys. And only the prior has those.
Wait a moment. Are you saying I'm supposed to steal the prior's keys so I can go and steal wine somewhere else?
Well, you see why I don't want to do it myself now, do you? I don't have what it takes. I can't get those keys, but you could. Or you might be able to pick the locks.
But you've done it once before, haven't you?
Last time the prior was sick, and he left the monastery keys in the Circator's care. So they unlocked the gates for me. This time we'll have to steal the keys.
How can I get hold of the keys, do you think?
I don't know, but it might be possible to do this without them. Brother Celerius, the cellar keeper, used to be a burglar. He knows his way around locks, and maybe could help us, if you could find a way to arrange it.
Do you think he'll want to take part in theft?
No, but he could give some advice, or maybe get some lockpicks to open the gate. You'll figure something out.
If you think so, I can try.
Once you have the key or some lockpicks, come and see me and we'll make our plan.
About those keys?
Did you get that?
Not yet.
Well, hurry up then.
Praise be to Christ.
I'd like to ask...
Don't move a muscle.
In the night, I saw the brother Cicators drinking and playing dice.
And why aren't you spending your nights sleeping instead of creeping around spying on your brothers?
I only wanted to...
I know, brother, I know. But you need to understand that novices shouldn't be poking their noses into the affairs of elder brothers.
Even if something inappropriate was going on?
Even then, I'm afraid. Who are you compared with them? Wait till you know what's what, and in the meantime keep your head down and do what you're told. Life in a monastery is much like life outside in many ways. The monastery walls don't keep out human pride and hatred.
Really? I thought monks were above that sort of human folly.
They became monks, Gregor, but that didn't stop them being men. Be on your guard as much as you ever were outside. Lies, jealousy, vengeance. They can hurt you here as much as anywhere.
Thanks for the advice, although I don't know if I can follow it.
That's up to you, brother.
Brother, you were somewhere you shouldn't have been. Don't you know your place? Don't you know where you're permitted to enter and where your presence is forbidden?
Very well, brother. I accept my punishment.
Now, show me what you have on you.
Not now.
This is not a...
Peace be... This is not a good time.
Brother, you were somewhere you shouldn't have been. Don't you know your...
I've had enough of this.
You dare resist?
Yes, brother.
You failed to complete your trial. Peace be with you.
I'm a new brother, a novice, Gregor. I don't know my way around here yet. You're in charge of the whole monastery, aren't you?
Welcome amongst us. Yes, yes.
The Lord wanted me to take over the abbot's duties in his absence, but mainly I'm a servant of God, just like you and all the other brethren. Before God, there's no difference between us. How'd you like it here?
I don't know yet. Haven't been here long.
Well, you're too humble. I'm sure you must have some opinion, but I won't pry it out of you.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Will you tell me something?
Of course.
Anyone can become the...
Precisely. We have two candidates, Nevlas and John. I know that some brothers have already begun scheming.
What is it, brother?
In the...
And why? I know.
Even if...
Life and...
Really?
They became lies.
Thanks for the...
That's up to you.
Praise be to Christ.
From him, more is required. Let him make no distinction of
Praise be to Christ.
monastery. Let him not love one more than another, unless
In the middle of...
How marvelous!
Siskin? I thought it wasn't...
If the cicadas can...
That's not how it works.
I know. A double standard. The elder brothers can do as they please, but they're the ones preaching about morality to us.
soon as they begin to appear. Remembering the fate of Heli, the priest of silence, the well-disposed and those who could understand, let him correct with verbal admonitions the first and second time. But bold, hard, proud, and disobedient characters he should curb at the very beginning
Brother,
of their ill by
you were somewhere you shouldn't have.
bodily punishments. Knowing that it is written, the fool is not
I've had enough of this.
words.
You dare it.
And again,
Yes, bro.
your son with the rod.
Can't you see? This is not a...
I'm a new brother.
Welcome. How'd you like it?
I'd like to... Will you tell...
Of course.
Any...
Brother, you were somewhere you shouldn't have been.
Very well.
So, to John.
I'm a new brother.
Well, how do
Here the prophet shows that if the spirit of silence ought to lead us at times to refrain even from good speech, so much
Brother,
more ought the punishment for sin.
You were somewhere you shouldn't have been.
Therefore, since the spirit of silence
I've had
is
it.
so important, permission to speak should rest.
I'm looking for...
And
I'm looking...
so yeah, I'll
Salve Domine.
Brother, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working somewhere? Idle.
I had other affairs that needed to be attended to immediately. It will never happen again.
Really? Fine then. This time I will forgive you, but next time you'll be punished just like everyone else. Not now, brother. After Mass.
I'm a new brother.
Welcome. How'd you like it?
Will you tell
Of
any?
precise. I know.
What is it, bro?
In the... What? You're right.
Oh, life in a monastery.
Really?
That's up to you. Ah, Gregor.
Ah, great.
Brother Circator, my friend.
What would you like? To be relieved from duties?
No, I'm here because of Novice Lucas. I've heard there's some discord with him.
Only because that weasel wants to put an end to our nighttime fun. So, we're letting him know who's in charge here.
I'd appreciate it if you treat him like a brother again.
Well, if he isn't afraid of us, there's nothing to stop him ratting us out. But what do you care anyway? Grown fond of him, have you?
He hates you because you trample all over him and he has nothing to lose. If you show him just a bit of kindness, he'll think again about taking you on. You'll see.
Fine, you've convinced me. You can tell him things have been straightened out, but he'd better be on his best behavior from now on. Beware of Lucas. He might corrupt you.
What do you mean?
He's a sodomite, a sinner. He might try to get you into the habit. Or out of it.
I'll decide for myself who I do and don't talk to.
What would you...
Brother
What would you... No. Only...
He hate...
Fine. You beware.
What do you mean? I didn't...
But bold, hard, proud and disobedient characters he should curb at the very beginning of their ill-doing by stripes and other bodily punishments, knowing that it is written,
Praise be to our
corrected
Lord
with
Jesus.
words. And again, beat your son with the rod, and you will deliver his soul from death. The rule of Saint Benedict, readings on humility. The first degree of humility is obedience without delay. This is the virtue of those who hold nothing dearer to them than Christ, who, because of the holy service they have professed, and the fear of hell, and the glory of life everlasting, as soon as anything has been ordered by the superior, receive it as a divine command. This very obedience will be acceptable to God and pleasing to men only if what is commanded is done without hesitation.
I spoke to the
Delay,
Really?
lukewarmness, grumbling, or objection.
But you have to
For
promise
the
not to tell
obedience
anyone
given
what
to
you saw them doing.
superiors is given to God.
Then they'll leave you alone.
For if the
That's a
disciple
promise I'd be
obeys
glad to
his
make.
will and
I'm
word,
forever in your
not
debt, brother.
necessarily with his
Because
lips,
now
but
I
simply
know
in his
I
heart.
can trust
Then
you.
even
There's
though
something
he
I want to tell
fulfills
you.
the command,
It's about Brother
his
Antonius.
work will not be
I wouldn't
acceptable
like to say
God,
something that
who
isn't true.
sees that his
God
heart
forbid I
is
should
known,
cause harm by my
and
words,
far
but
from
this
gaining
is
a
something
reward
I'm
for such
sure
work as
of.
this,
Novice
he will incur the
Antonius is
punishment
lying
due
to us.
murmurers
What makes you say that?
unless he amend and make
He claims he's a merchant's son from Vlashim, and that he joined the order voluntarily. The thing is, I spent a great deal of time in Vlashim. I know it like the back of my hand, and no one even remotely like Antonius has ever lived there.
Are you sure? Because this could mean that...
It's true, or Canute isn't my name. That would be my secular name, by the way, but that's not important. I know Vlashim, and I know the local merchants there, and I've never seen Antonius among them. Why would he be lying if he had nothing to hide?
Thank you for telling me. I'll look into it.
The Rule of Saint Benedict. To that end, we think that the times for each may be prescribed as follows.
What would you like?
From Easter until the calends of October.
I'm still... It's no big terrible secret. Really, it isn't. I just go and read during services. There's no time otherwise. I mean, at other times I don't get to read what I like. And I keep it under the slab so the others don't find it.
What kind of a book is it?
I found it here in the library. It was on a shelf where it should never have been. So I hid it to read later. It's the Necronomicon. Ghosts, demons, and invocations of powers beyond our world. Only it's written in a strange language that I can't really make sense of. All bara this and bara that. Who knows what it means? I tried to count the syllables, read the words backwards, but nothing. I'm not getting anywhere with it.
Oh, I'm not too sure what the prior or the cicada would say about a book like that. Actually, what anyone would say. It sounds quite prohibited.
Prejudice. But you're right, it is prohibited. For no good reason, though. Has knowledge ever done anybody any harm?
Expounding the Lord's commandments in words to the intelligent among his disciples.
You're right. Knowledge should never be prohibited.
Oh, I'm glad you agree. Just take a look at the book. Maybe you'll be able to make some sense of it. I haven't grasped a single syllable. Just please don't tell anyone about the book. If the brothers learn that I took it from the library and hid it, I'll be in a lot of trouble. Our brothers' minds are closed to a thirst for knowledge.
I'll leave you be. Don't worry, I won't follow you again.
Thank you. And please, Gregor, don't mention it to anyone.
In the middle of the...
How marvelous.
Siskiyou?
If the cicada...
That's not how it...
I know.
I think the one I'm looking for is you.
You've lost... What on earth...
Proud and disobedient characters. You should
True enough.
the very beginning of their ill-doing by stripes.
I won't...
You're
bodily punishments. Knowing that it is written, the fool
Would you do that?
You're right. I'll...
Thank you, sis.
Beat your son with the rod, and you will deliver his soul from death. The rule of readings on daily manual labor. Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed hours in sacred reading. To that end, we think that the times for each may be prescribed as follows. From Easter
Praise
to
be
the
to-
calends of October.
Or maybe...
Me? A criminal? Look at me. How could I be?
About the 4th hour. And from the 4th hour
You're most likely right.
6th, let them apply themselves to
Well, I should say so.
after the 6th hour, having left the table, let them rest on their beds in perfect
Or maybe...
silence.
Me?
Or
A
if
crip?
anyone may perhaps want to read,
No.
to read to himself
No,
in such a way
I never.
as to disturb anyone else. Let none
Leave me alone.
rather early.
Leave me alone.
The 8th hour.
Leave me
Let them
alone.
again do what work has to be done until vespers. Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned a task or craft of such a nature as to keep them from idleness and at the same time not over.
Father,
What's wrong? What's happened?
that novice, Gregor, he's no monk. He's come here to the monastery to kill someone.
What? What are you talking about?
He told me himself. They became a novice so he could get in here. That he's looking for someone.
I'll look into this immediately.
Leave me alone. Oh, you interested in what's inside? Forbidden books, written by the devil himself. Forget about them. What's inside? Forbidden books.
The Rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the Spirit.
Will you tell me?
Guy,
I mean, where you...
Prophet says. I said.
You see, I'm looking for... I am a novice. I'm looking for...
Guy.
Because you could...
I was mute and was humble and kept silence even from...
Talk to him. Do you have any...
I think I wouldn't like to say something.
What makes you say that?
He claims he's...
Are you sure?
It's...
Thank you for...
So much the more ought the punishment for sin make us avoid evil words. Therefore, since the spirit of silence is so important, permission
Gregor.
should rarely be granted even to perfect disciples.
About those...
Did you get them?
Not yet.
Well, hurry up.
For it is written, in much speaking you will not escape sin. And
what
in
would you-
another place, death
I'd like-
and life are in the power of the tongue. For speaking and teaching belong to the master. The disciples...
What do you desire?
...silent to listen. And for that reason, if anything has to be asked of the superior...
I'm interested...
You're not...
Why? What's wrong?
Many...
humility and submission inspired by
That's all.
Peace be with
But
you.
as for coarse jests and idle words or
What do you
words
desire?
to laughter, these we condemn everywhere with a perpetual
I'd like-
ban. And for such conversation we do not permit a disciple to open...
What do you desire?
The rule
I'd like-
of Saint Benedict. Readings on daily manipulation. Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore the brethren should...
Gregor.
certain times in manual labor.
I'm still...
It's...
Fixed hours in sacred reading. To that
What kind of...
It's... Who...
You're...
Just...
I'll tell the...
What? Talk to me.
I'm still...
It...
I'll leave...
Thank you.
In the middle...
It was...
in such a way as not to disturb anyone else. Let none be said rather early at the
I'm
middle
look-
of the 8th hour, and let them again
No,
when
nothing.
work has to be done until vespers.
Brother...
I see.
Or
Well-
simply brethren should be assigned a task
Is
of
there any-
craft of such a nature as to keep them
There's something else-
idle
Brother.
and at the same time not to
I'd like-
burden them or drive them
Who
away
would you
with
like?
excessive toil. Their weakness must be taken
Are there-
into consideration by the abbot.
I understand.
The Rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on humility. The first degree of humility is obedience without delay. This is the virtue of those who hold nothing dearer to them than Christ, who,
What do you
in the
desire?
holy service they have professed,
I've heard you're from Vlashim.
hell and the glory of
Yes,
Christ.
why do you ask?
As
And
soon
more
as
importantly,
it
where
is
did you hear it?
by the superior, receive it as a divine command.
Because I've heard otherwise.
Any delay in
You aren't from Vlashim. You made it all
this
up.
very
And who told you that?
be acceptable to
Whoever
God
it was, he's a liar.
and to men
It's complete
only if
nonsense.
What is commanded is done without hesitation.
I've heard you.
Yes, why do...
Delay,
I've read the abbot's book.
grumbling,
It's got everything he knows about the novices.
for the obedience
Why?
given to
Why would you
superiors
do
is
that?
given to God. For if the disciple obeys with an ill
It was pure chance.
not necessarily
Pure chance?
but simply
You had to break into his study to get it. Do you have any idea how they'll punish you for that?
That's beside the point now. There are gaps in your little story about Vlashim.
What's so implausible about it? I've always been more interested in books. So,
unless he amend and make satisfactory.
You see, I'm looking for someone in the monastery.
Rule of Saint Benedict.
Someone who's lied about who he is.
On the spirit of silence.
And you fit that description perfectly.
but I told you, I've never lied to anyone.
That's funny. I think you're lying to me right now.
Do you think you're entitled to met out justice? Who gave you the right? I'm sorry, but I don't want to have anything more to do with you, Gregor. You're a lunatic, and the prior ought to be warned about you.
So much the more ought the punishment for sin make us avoid evil words. Therefore, since the spirit...
Please don't tell him anything. It would put my whole mission in jeopardy. And believe me, my cause is just.
Very well, I won't say a word. But you should think twice about what you have in mind.
For it is written, in much speaking,
Gregor.
you will not escape sin.
I've heard...
And
Yes,
in
why...
another place, death and life
I've read the...
power of the tongue. For speaking and teaching belongs
That doesn't
to
matter.
the master.
What's so
The disciples'
important?
part is to be silent and to listen. And for that reason,
Good.
if anything has to be asked of the superior, it should be asked with all the humility and submission inspired by reverence. But as for coarse jests and idle words or words that move the rule of Saint Benedict, readings on idleness, and again at fixed. To that end, we think that the times for each may be prescribed as follows: from Easter until the calends of October. When they come out from prime in the morning, let them labor at whatever is necessary until about the 4th hour. And from the 4th hour until themselves to reading. After the 6th hour, having left the table, let them rest on their beds in perfect silence. Or if anyone may perhaps want to read, let him read to himself in such a way as not to disturb anyone else. Let none be said rather early, at the middle of the 8th hour, and let them again do what work has to be done until vespers. Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned a task or craft of such a nature as to keep them from idleness, and at the same time not to overburden them or drive them away with excessive toil. Their weakness must be taken into consideration by the abbot.
And what would you like?
The rule of Saint Benedict.
I'd like to ask...
Readings on daily matters. Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed hours in sacred reading. To that end, we think that the times for each may be prescribed as follows: from Easter until the calends of October. When they come out from prime in the morning, let them labor until about the 4th hour. And from the 4th hour until about the 6th, let them apply themselves to reading.
You've got a strong constitution. Anyone else would have certainly died.
What happened?
Let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, there was a young boy. He was lost and miserable. He had no future. He was tempted by his friends into doing some foolish things, but he wasn't truly bad, because when it came down to it, he ran away rather than keep doing foolish deeds. His former friends didn't take kindly to that, though, and wanted to punish him. So they sent a hunting dog to find him and rip his throat. The boy wasn't stupid, though, and he knew that the hound was coming. He poisoned some food, and when the hound showed up, he gave it to him. He didn't expect the beast to live, but it did. And all of a sudden, the boy was sorry for what he tried to do. So he offered to make a bargain with the hound.
It was you that poisoned me.
Don't take it personally. Kill or be killed. You know, we're both pawns in someone else's game. They have plans for us, but we don't have to let them use us. We can just forget all about it and go our own way. I was a bandit, and I was at Nyhoff. I've robbed and stolen, but I swear to God I've never in my life slain innocent people. What I saw at Nyhoff made me realize my life was worth shit, but I still had a chance to change for the better. Here in the monastery I've had plenty of time to think things over, but then you showed up and fucked it all up.
So the evildoer changes his ways and finds God. What exactly are you proposing?
Both of us can leave this place. You can go back to your people, and I can go somewhere where I can live out my life in peace and no one will try to kill me. If we work together, we can both get what we want.
What if I wanted a different option?
You could kill another novice, I suppose. If news of the murder got out from the monastery, my former friends might believe I'm dead. But I'm offering you a solution that doesn't require any killing. Before we make a run for it, we'll make it look like someone's killed me. Loads of blood, a tattered scrap of my habit, and footprints leading towards the river. No one will bother looking for my body there. There we'll split up. You go for your bounty, and I'll get as far away from here as I can.
Good. Let's do it your way.
Good. I'm glad that despite our initial discord, we could reach an agreement. Here, take something to calm your stomach. Now we'll need the keys to the monastery and some blood to make the tracks.
What are you going to do?
I need to get ready for a long journey. Prepare supplies, get some normal clothing somehow, that sort of thing. You can escape in that habit, but I need to vanish as fast as I can.
What do I need the keys to the monastery for?
How else will we get out? This place is practically a prison.
Getting the keys won't be easy.
I know, but Brother Solarius is a reformed thief. I'll bet he still has a few lockpicks lying about. If you know how to use them, they'll be worth finding. Or there's the hard way. Steal the keys from the prior. He carries them with him at all times.
They both sound hard to me. But needs must. And where am I supposed to get my hands on blood in a monastery?
You'll find a parchment in the kitchen with a list of ingredients on it. All the things they're ordering. Add blood for making soup to the list. And when it's delivered the next day, take it before anyone notices it's even come.
All right, that's everything I need to know. I can get started.
Excellent. Come and see me once you have everything. And try to be as fast as you can. And Gregor, thank you.
Peace be with you, brother.
What trouble?
Gregor.
Gregor.
What troubles you?
What is it, brother?
Brother...
I see.
Well, there's something else.
Brother.
I'm looking...
And what?
I'm looking... I'd
what? Say, I'll try.
Brother, you were somewhere you shouldn't.
Very well, brother.
Now, shall...
The rule of Saint Benedict.
Talk to me.
Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when
I've
anyone
heard-
receives
Yes, what?
the name of abbot, he ought to govern his
read
disciples
the-
with a twofold teaching. That is to say,
Because
he
I
should
would-
show
That
them
book,
all that is
surely-
good and
do you
holy.
have-
That's
by his
beside-
deeds
What's so
even
im-
more than by his words.
You see, I-
but I
Expounding the
told-
Lord's commandments in words to the intelligent among his
Please
disciples,
don't. Very well.
but demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those of harder hearts and ruder minds. The abbot should always remember what he is and what he is called, and should know that to whom more is committed, from him more is required. Let him make no distinction of persons in the monastery. Let him not love one more than another, unless it be one whom he finds better in good works or in obedience. And let him not shut his eyes to the faults of offenders, but, since he has the
You've got a strong...
What?
Let me tell you. But he...
What if I... Good. What?
What?
All right.
And...
What was I...
Christ almighty.
Brother, you were somewhere...
I've had...
You dare...
Yeah.
You...
The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on daily manual labor.
Talk to me.
Idleness is the enemy of the soul.
I've heard...
Therefore, the brethren should be occupied
I've read-
at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed
But-
hours in sacred reading. To that end, we
Yeah,
think
but-
that the times for each may be prescribed
Very-
as follows. From Easter until the calends of October. When they come out from prime in the morning, let them labor at whatever is necessary until about the 4th hour. And from the 4th hour until about the 6th, let them apply themselves to reading. After the 6th hour, having left the table, let them rest on their beds in perfect silence, or if anyone may perhaps want to read, let him read to himself in such a way as not to disturb anyone else.
You've got a strong...
What?
Let me...
What? Good.
What?
Getting...
Oh, the...
All right.
And Gregor.
Demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those of harder hearts and ruder minds. Let him not love one more than another, unless it be one whom he finds better in good works or in obedience. And let him not shut his eyes to the faults of offenders, but, since he has the authority, let him cut out those faults by the roots as soon as they begin to appear. Remembering the fate of Heli, the priest of silence, the well-disposed and those of good understanding, let him correct with verbal admonition the first and second time. But bold, hard, proud, and disobedient characters he should curb at the very beginning of their ill-doing by stripes and other bodily punishments, knowing that it is written, the fool is not corrected with words. And again, beat your son with the rod, and you will deliver his soul from Rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the manipulation.
Brother, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working somewhere?
I definitely was there. I did come a little late, so perhaps no one noticed me.
Really? I'll pretend nothing happened. But this is the last time, brother. Brother? You were somewhere you shouldn't have been.
Until about the 4th hour. And from the 4th hour until about the 6th, let them apply themselves to reading. After the 6th hour, having left the table, let them rest on their beds in perfect silence, or if anyone... The rule of Saint Benedict.
What would you...
Readings on the spirit of silence. Let us do what the prophet says.
I've heard your...
I said, I will guard my ways, that I may not sin with my tongue. I have set a guard to my mouth. I was mute and was humble and kept silence even from good things. Here the prophet shows that if the spirit of silence ought to lead us at times to refrain even from good speech, so much the more ought the punishment for sin make us avoid evil words. Therefore, since the spirit of silence is so important, permission to speak should rarely be granted even to perfect disciples, even though it be for good, holy, edifying conversation. For it is written, in much speaking you will not escape sin. And in another place, death and life are...
You've got a strong constitution.
What? Good. What?
What?
All right.
And
Brother? What are you doing here?
I definitely was there.
Really? This time, brother? You were some...
I've had...
You...
Yes, brother.
You failed to...
The rule of Saint Benedict on daily manual labor. Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed hours in sacred reading. To that at the middle of the 8th hour, and let them again do what work has to be done until vespers. Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned a task or craft of such a nature as to keep them from idleness, and at the same time not to overburden them or drive them away with excessive toil. Their weakness must be taken into consideration by the abbot.
You've got a strong...
What?
Let me... Once... But he...
It would... What if... Good.
Good.
What?
What?
They... All right.
And... Praise be to Christ, brother.
I'm here to work.
Excellent. I've been waiting for you. There's the alchemist's laboratory. You'll find ingredients in the chests next to it. Concoct 2 buck's blood potions. Once you finish them, you'll find me somewhere nearby. Don't forget to let me know when you're done so I can check them.
Young people have no respect for writing these days. But they'll learn. We were no different. Things will get worse. Things you say. My joints started aching just before they raised scallops. Worse than last time. Something is gonna happen out there. You might be wrong. And besides, God will be out to take care.
Evadere Satana, non quam soade infana, sub mala equilibas ipse venena vivas.
What is it, brother?
I've finished my work.
Show me what you've made. Spectacular, Gregor. You've found your talent. Soon enough, you'll be teaching the other novices. Praise be to... Talk to me, brother.
Praise be to our Lord Jesus. Get away from our cabinet. The books stood in there aren't for your eyes to see.
Ah, Gregor, talk to me.
I'm here to work.
Good. This is most likely the first time you've ever done this in your life. But it's easier than you think. Just a bit of practice and learning Latin. Here's the original, and here are the blank parchments on which you'll copy what you read in the original. Is that clear? Then you may begin, and try not to make a mess of it.
You're interested in what's inside? Forbidden books, written by the devil himself. Forget about...
Good work. Ah.
Don't even look at that cabinet. It contains forbidden books.
Command and cannot suffer
Salve,
any delay
be well.
in executing it. But this very obedience will be acceptable to God and commanded is done without hesitation. Delay, lukewarmness, grumbling, or objection. For the obedience given to
Praise be to Christ.
I'm looking.
And what?
I'm looking for
luck. Well, what? So you heard? I'll trade.
Salve. Be well.
What trouble?
What is it? It's no big terrible secret. Really, it isn't. I just go and read during...
what?
I found it here. It's... Who knows?
You're...
Oh, I'm glad. Just...
I'll leave you.
Thank you. Salve. Be well.
God be with you.
Peace be with you, brother.
What is it?
Praise.
I found it.
Wonderful.
I'd like to know some.
What?
What is it?
Ah.
Someone's been creeping around in the corridor at...
Ah, Gregor.
What am I saying? Creeping. He was stomping about like a bear.
That must have been Brother Cicada. He can't sleep and prays long into the night.
Lord Jesus.
Servants.
Next time you'd better get proper Snoimo.
What would you like?
Ah,
Ah! Why are you waking me? Go away. Leave me be. I want to sleep.